Yeah, so I just come out here. I hang out until people show up. And honestly, there was one the other day. I wasn't sure if I was going to run episode 2 for very long at all because of the fact that there was nobody here for like 10 minutes. And it was that big authority summit that was going on with John Lee Dumas. Yes. So I was like, okay, I didn't know that show was going on. And I said, that's going to be a tough competition. You know, Barb Tomlin was in here for a few minutes and took off. And luckily Nazim showed up and we sat down and started talking about what was going on over in Belgium or Brussels and all that with the airport. So, and it went off from there. We had a couple of visitors show up, but looks a little thin today, which is okay. I've actually, what I'm looking to do, Grammy, and this is what I've already put together, is I'm going to be broadcasting very similar to what Stephen Haywood and Marty McPadden do on BTS Live, which is I will be broadcasting out to like 5 different platforms at once, live, all at one time. Blab will be one of those, and it'll be using the drop-in feature so that I have, and that's where this ability, I'll be able to bring in Skype callers just like Marty and those guys do. This will give me the opportunity to have my Skype caller, only it'll be in the big high-def 16
in the big
by
box.
9. Yeah, and I'll be able to talk back and forth with whoever calls in on Skype. So I'm looking forward. And are you heading somewhere right away? Do you got to head off to another Blab? Are you heading back?
So Renee, you remember Renee Bowdy? She does she does her cooking shows. I am her co-host today, and I've got to
cool.
I have to prep for that. But I think, let me get my glasses back on. I've got an hour.
Did you see the name of the vegan deli I gave her as her she threw up a request for?
Yeah, she did a Facebook Live, and no, I didn't. I saw somebody said Valley, and I thought that was good. What did you say?
The Bunch of Garden Crunch.
Oh, I might like that. The Bunch of Garden Crunch. Yeah, that's fun.
The Bunch of Garden, like the O with the little apostrophe. The Bunch of Garden Crunch. But either way, I was just playing.
Oh my goodness, yeah. She's found this thing that she thinks she wants to buy, and she did she spent a weekend doing, I think it's Michael Hyatt's life plan. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so she spent a weekend doing it. She says, I sort of did this, and I'm like, you didn't sort of anything. But I think it's really focused her energy and her intentions, because she likes to use that word. But things are just kind of blowing up for her. So she started to do Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. She's doing a Blab at noon Central, which would be 1 o'clock Eastern.
Okay. Yep,
and I'm going to co-host for her at least on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And then she comes in and supports me Tuesday nights with my show, because my internet, I don't know what it is, Leland. My internet is fine during the day. I never have trouble during the day. Mm-hmm. But, as soon as it gets to be 6, 7 o'clock at night, if I go on to a Blab, the whole thing just crashes and it becomes a...
Where do you live? Where do you live?
Nashville.
You're in Nashville.
Nashville, Tennessee.
You're in a pretty big city. It's likely it's when people are getting home from work and everybody's getting on the internet. And what you could try doing is contacting your cable company and asking them, just telling them what's going on with your feed at that time of day, and say, is there anything you can do to connect me to a different switch? Because sometimes they can go out and on the corner boxes, the big cable boxes that you see sitting on the corner of the street, they might be routing you through a neighborhood that's got a ton of switches, and they're just overloading one of the switches with you being on that switch. So you could say, hey, can somebody go down and check my connection? Because I've actually had some where the connections rot inside those boxes. And sometimes that causes an issue when there's a lot of signal going back and forth. So it might help you to just give them a shout on the tech end, or the technical support end, and say, hey, I think there's a hardware issue out here on my end. When it starts loading up at night, I don't get a signal for crap. You guys need to take a look at it outside. And they might be able to fix something, or they might be able to move you over to another switch so that you're not as bulkheaded with all the other users out in your neighborhood. So there's always
I'll check on them.
It might help. You never know. They might overload everything.
The haircut. The haircut looks good, dear.
Well, thank you. I let my wife cut my hair. I was going to keep it. I wanted to kind of keep. Well, she went to school for cosmetology, but
okay.
And so did our daughter. But she says she won't cut men's hair. She forgets that she cut mine 3 times. Once being when I married her mother, but it's kind of funny. So I wanted her to cut it and leave like at least something to comb over, but she took the shears and kind of went to town. But sorry.
No, it looks good. My husband has been telling hair cutters for years, they're all the same. Don't leave any longer. They just, because he's got that thing right, up the middle of his, and he's never done a comb over. He's got a brother who has, it's not as bad as Donald Trump's, but it's this horrible. Comb overs don't fool anybody. Don't even go there. You look good. Look, there's Roxanne. Yay!
Yeah, there she is. Now I'm going to show you guys a video. Well, we finally got some people in here, at least a couple. And I won't show this again, but there is a person I want to bring out here next week. And if you guys saw my Facebook post, well, you may have seen it, Grammy, because you're a friend of mine on Facebook. Jamie Orr is a local talent here in the Detroit area. And she just got on BTE FM radio the other day, which is 101.9. Yeah. And if you saw the post that I gave, it was kind of one of those motivational posts to get people that are really pushing to get their dream. That really, when you get to that point that you achieve it, it's a very emotional experience. It's one of those things that you kind of lose it a little bit emotionally, because it's like, oh my God, I finally made it, So this is somebody local, and she actually lives down in Novi, which is right next door to where my daughter used to live in Farmington, but she just recently moved back up here. So she got a single out called Love is a War. And if you're listening out there, Jamie, I'm going to go ahead and play the video that you made on your phone, which I thought was just adorable. It went through a viral site called rumble.com, which plays videos and broadcasts them out themselves so that they can create a viral pattern. But this is really cute. This is something she put together in her car, waiting for the radio station to play her song for the first time on the radio. So just watch this. It's only a couple minutes long. Can you hear it okay, Grammy?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
That's the band Yeasayer. Under $84,000. Of course, trying to keep the long interruption here. And why we're asked birthdays to celebrate, lots of them today. Yay, Aretha.
He was just having a ball.
WDET. Support right now and by calling 1-800.
Sugar. And
okay. Before the break, he said, Motor City Made song coming up soon. You guys, I think I might have a heart attack today.
This young lady's career, so to speak. I mean, she was really just at the very start of her career now. Her name is Jamie Orr, and on April the 30th, she's going to put out an EP called Healed. And I obviously, because we play a lot of music, we give a platform to local musicians to get on the air. I hear a lot of stuff, and you know what? I have not heard something that is this well produced in a very long time. There's a lot of great stuff. In fact, I just played something from Mr. Gutierrez, formerly of The Infatuations. He has a lovely single. And I want you to hear this because it starts out in this sort of acoustic mode and it explodes into the big pop sound that it is. So on April the 30th, Healed comes out. That's the EP from Jamie Orr. That's Jayme, Orr, O-R-R. Let's listen to this song, which is her first single, which she just released yesterday, called Love is a War on 101.9 WDET.
Get the Kleenex out. It's a really good song, too.
That's so sweet.
And, can you imagine? I mean, and I don't know how old Jamie is. I figure she's probably in her early 20s, but she doesn't have a video for this song yet, except for a lyric video. And you can find that on YouTube if you just Google Jamie Orr on YouTube or search her out on YouTube. And that's the way she spells her name. I just love what she says.
That is so sweet.
Isn't that cute?
Well, I am an emotional wreck, which I did not expect. Rob, thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. Healed, April 30th. You guys can pick up a copy of Love is a War right now when you go to jamieorr.bandcamp.com. Pre-order the EP. Lyric video for Love is a War is up on YouTube. Stay tuned, you guys. I've got so much exciting stuff. I'm gonna go cry now.
Thing?
Thank you guys so much for
That
the
is
support. I love you all.
So cute.
Stay
that she
tuned.
put that video
It
in.
Yeah.
a crazy
And
journey.
it was like one of those, oh, thank you so much for all of your support and help. Like she just got the Golden Globes or something, and I thought that was just beautiful. But I have been in contact with
that Grammy.
Yeah, that's true. Obviously, yeah. I don't know my awards very well. That's just
There you go.
the way. But I have been in
I
contact.
only know that one.
Yeah, I have been in contact with Jamie on the sidelines. I don't know if she's watching. There are a few outside observers. There were outside observers earlier, but she has seen the Blab platform. I know she had a radio or a TV show spot to do yesterday morning. So we haven't had a chance to get together and actually determine. She was talking about stopping by today. I don't think she's going to make it in here today, but it's one of those things that hopefully she'll at least get a glimpse of the show, and maybe she'll get a hold of me in the next day or two, and we can talk about getting her out here next week and have a little interview with her.
That'd be lovely.
Because her album does go live April 30th. So what have you been up to, Grammy? What's in Grammy's world?
I got a new baby. I got a brand new baby.
Very cool.
Let's see.
Don't let Roxanne in here. Hold on a second.
She's 3 weeks old. I went and spent 10 days with them out in Salt Lake City. And then saw the other, because I actually have two brand new babies out there. I had all my kids meet me in Salt Lake for dinner, and so I got to meet the new grandson. He's 4 months old. So I'm coming out the ears with babies, but you know, it's there's a reason that my name is Grammy Donnie. It's a big part of my life. So
absolutely,
I got a new baby. I'm painting. I've got a show on Saturday. You know, stuff is really good right now.
And speaking of babies, just before, and hello, Roxanne. Good morning. I hate to ever leave anybody sitting there too long. Just when you said you had your hands full with babies, Grammy, close to 3 years ago. Well, it was 3 years ago this May. We had all three of our daughters were pregnant and having babies at the same time.
Oh wow!
Talk about insane. That was like two of them actually had, well, our daughter and our our daughter and our daughter-in-law had babies 2 days apart, right there inside the same hospital. And actually had the babies in the same room. So that was something kind of crazy. I'm going to let Kevin in here for a minute. I like this guy. He's quite a character.
Yeah.
Kevin, how are you doing?
What's up, bros?
How you doing, big guy?
I was at the Blab show on Sunday.
Yeah?
Yeah, it went well.
You were at the Blab show on Sunday?
Yeah, on Blab, yeah. The meeting.
I didn't see that one, I don't think.
No, I thought you did.
Which one was that?
All they said was about the drop-ins and the.
Oh, that wasn't Sunday, was it? That was just. Oh, yeah, it was Sunday. You're right. You're right. That
told
was
you.
the first one. There's another one tonight, by the way, that they're going to.
I'm gonna
That's
go to
at
that
7 p.m. I think. So make sure you stop by that one. That's
yeah,
going to
I'm
be,
gonna
I
go
think,
to
a
that
little
one.
more informative.
What's it about?
Sunday,
It's just updates of what's going on Blab. It's one of their town meetings, and usually the town meetings are either introducing new features or talking about what's coming up as a possible new feature, or what other background things they're doing or trying to fix, or And I think honestly, it's going to be more about the homepage tonight, because there has been a lot of screaming and yelling about how the homepage is formatted and how the search doesn't work. People can't find Blabs and all that kind of stuff. So,
Yep.
Find Blabs.
yeah. Yeah, and I think and the search feature has changed. If you guys haven't noticed, there's a lot of functionality to the search now, but it doesn't alleviate what we got accustomed to, which was having just pictures everywhere where we could say, "Oh, there's another Blab I want to see," and be able to pick on.
Yeah.
You can find a lot of those Blabs that you might be looking for in the search bar, because it does drop down now with graphics and actually shows a little bit more information than it used to. But yeah, I think going forward, they need to really do something with that front page and fix it.
Yeah.
But you have to know what you're looking for in order to find anything. You need to know beforehand what you're looking for in order to find it. It's a pain.
Yes. And Kevin, I did put in a word for you, Kevin, on the light and dark contrasting in the chat, because these guys like Kevin, because Kevin's visually impaired, and he needs a voice reader that takes the text from the chat so that he can hear it, and because he can't read it off of his
not
platform.
personally myself, but other people that are blind and visually impaired. You got other people besides me.
Yep. And they need that feature, because without the contrast, now it's just dark with light text. The text readers have a really hard time reading that. Mm-hmm. They do better with a white background with black text. And
they do have an option where you could switch.
But it's gone right now. It's not there anymore. That was what we were trying to do the other day. If you type /light, it doesn't work. /dark is the permanent default right now. Like I type /light, it just comes up in the chat. If you type /dark, it disappears and it doesn't even show up, which tells me that the default for the chat now is dark with white text. So there's no way back.
No, I can see it because of the zoom.
Yeah.
Now,
okay.
Here's the thing, though. Another feature: add like a bell, like a caller. So it's like Skype. Like whenever somebody calls in, you can hear
the
like
app,
the Skype incoming sound. So that way, somebody's calling in. I wonder who.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And that's something else that they don't really have. But go ahead, Roxanne. You haven't had a chance.
They worked good with us for migraines and epilepsy, because they don't let you put those flashing little tweet this.
Oh, the GIF.
Yeah. Yes.
That was bothering you guys a lot, wasn't it?
Yes.
Wow. See, I would have never even guessed that. Yeah, that's a
text,
good point.
like this. Whenever anybody put something up, I had to cover it up.
Really? I didn't. I was not even aware of that, because I know when we started in Blab Nation, David was constantly throwing gifts out there.
Constantly.
And I would have had no clue that was affecting people.
It got distracting, and I know that everybody misses. Well, I know that David misses it. I'm personally, I'm glad that it's gone.
Yeah, we talked about that on the Circadian meeting.
Yeah.
And so they told everybody, stop putting those up. And I guess they listened to that, because I told them that it was bad. And
you got one type of situation down, but there's other situations too.
Yeah, for sure. Because they can do them in the drop-ins still. Yeah, I've dropped those gifts
here's
for
the thing,
tweet.
Though. When you start Blab, you get to, here's the option. You could toggle this option on or off. You could toggle disability types on, which I'm going to do. Then I'm going to select my condition, visual impairment, and then they're going to ask you what type of visual impairment, and they'll curate it automatically the scene for voiceover, whatever,
Yeah. Okay.
That'll be interesting.
Roxanne's got a
That'd be good.
Yeah, that's.
Grammy.
What app are you? Well, Roxanne had a phone call come in, Kevin.
Okay.
What app are you using for that?
Oh no, this is on Blab Beta right now.
Oh, is it really? It's a thing when you sign in. Oh, I didn't know that.
No. What I would like to have.
Oh, what you'd like to see. Okay.
The final feature.
Gotcha.
Like, there's an option where you can toggle disability mode, so that way Blab will understand what I'm doing, and that includes all types. Though, if you type in, it will filter from any other type of disability that you have.
Oh, I gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That would be
Kevin,
nice.
have you sent a suggestion to Blab about that?
I don't know.
Have you asked for that?
I think it's idea@blab.im.
Yeah.
That's one of them. Or you can just go direct through Jason at support@blab.im. We'll get you to Jason.
That's a fantastic idea. Yeah. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna do. Let me do this real quick. Let me go to my over here. Then I'm gonna type in. What is it? idea@blab, right?
Yeah, give it a shot. See if that
right.
Works.
Idea@.
I didn't know that was an email over there.
I thought ideas. I've got it on another profile. I got all their stuff is
ideas. Ideas with an S at blab.im, right?
Right,
yes,
with an S. And I
try ideas.
Okay, hold on.
If it bounces back right away, you got the wrong one. Try the other.
Okay. Okay.
They probably have a bulk account anyway. That anything that comes in at blab.im, they're gonna.
I would like to import a disability option. Option for Blab.
Absolutely.
Period. This will have different types of abilities or disabilities.
Yeah, Premier Bands, and I know that's Jerry over there. There are several tech blabs out here teaching about all the features of Blab, and I can mention this to you. If you just type in the word Blab tutorial in Google, Metz's profile, I believe it's John Metz, put together probably the most inclusive Blab. I'm just going to mute you for a second, Kevin. So if he's interrupting, I wish I could mute him permanently. That's something you can't do. That's another feature I'd like to see, is where we can mute the other individuals in the box as a host. But we can't do that yet.
I thought you used to be able to.
No, it's only for yourself. It doesn't, like, I would like to be able to mute the people. Like if I'm saying something and somebody's got the cow moon in the background, I want to be able to say, Grammy, sorry, I got to mute you for a second. And we can't do that yet. And it's kind of sad, but I think the reason behind that is it can tend to build strife. You know, you have people muting other people out, like, shut up, I don't want to hear what you have to say. And then it becomes an issue. So I think they avoided it for that reason. But yeah, Jerry, as far as the tutorials go, if you just type in Blab tutorial in Google, Metz's will show up, and it's probably the most complete tutorial out there. And there are several individuals that come out here. Jonathan Tripp's one of them that comes out and talks about Blab all day long in the morning at 10 a.m. And other ways with social media, business, and marketing. So that's one opportunity. And then I will be covering some of the technical issues of broadcasting out here on Blab going forward from here. Most of my stuff's going to be geared toward multicasting, which would be just that. I would be broadcasting through software out to one place that I'm looking at is Restream.io, which allows me to broadcast to 4 different sites at once. And then I'll be dropping a link from YouTube Live into Blab so that I can broadcast here also and use the chat feature to be involved with the community. So there are several ways that you can run this. Perfect example, if you want to see what I'm talking about, is look for Stephen Haywood or Marty McPadden of BTS Live. They do a show out here called the Tech Buzz, Broadcast Now, and the Weekly Wrap Up, and BTS Live is Marty's show, that all use that same process. And it's kind of the way things are moving forward. What a really big feature that's coming out soon is called NDI, which is a network distribution interface, or basically it's going to allow people to connect several different video sources across the internet and sound sources and all that type of stuff without having to use hardware-based equipment like they had recently. Are you in a school today, Kevin?
No, I don't have classes.
Oh, but you're in the school, right?
Yeah, I'm in school,
Oh,
but
okay.
I don't have classes.
I heard the school bell go off. I was like, you got to be at a school building over there.
Yeah, because I don't have classes because I'm mostly free.
Okay.
I don't have classes until actually after lunch, so it's all good.
Oh, so you kind of have
I
that
got
free
plenty
reign.
of time.
You got a permanent hall pass. Is what I had one of those in high school.
Yeah, no, because I come on Blab and check to see what's going on if I don't have any classes. But if I do have classes, I will be off of Blab permanently.
Gotcha. And to answer your question, Jerry, there's a couple of ways you can do that. I actually use a software mixer now. I have a hardware mixer. Actually, I'll show you what I got here. 1 second. I just disconnected my my old Behringer board.
Soundboard.
Yeah, and this is the problem I had with this board is that it's not USB. There's a similar version to this very Xenix 802 board that's a USB Behringer that would have a plug right here that you could plug right into your computer. This one didn't, so I had to plug it into the mic. Hey, can you mute yourself, Kevin? I'd appreciate it. Thanks. So basically, it made it a little difficult. There was a wiring issue when it came to analog going into digital. What I use now currently is basically a software mixer, and I'll show you what that looks like here. This is my software mixer on my other monitor, which allows me to and it's very similar in scope of what the other mixer has. It contains 3 audio channels in and 2 virtual channels in that allow me to connect to sources like Skype and the computer itself, or the sound's coming through the desktop, and then I can actually record, or I can come over here and I can pull in some applause and play around with sound effects. Because I'm that good, and it's
because you are.
I was just teasing. That was all about the fact that
I wasn't.
Well, I can play with several things. I can get over here, and this allows me to do like the heartbeat and several of the other things that I have tucked away in here. Any sound effect that you can find online can basically be done through this mixer without any additional software. So that's where I go with that. And it's kind of fun because there are several features on that software. You can get that for free. It's called Voicemeeter Banana, and I can give you a link here in just a second. I'm actually going to be doing. Anybody can use this for any type of recording or playing around. If you just Google Voicemeeter, it's not voicemeeter.com. You're going to find VB Audio. Plus it has a bunch of text after it. So I'm just going to give you the link to find. There's 2 versions. There's the original Voicemeeter. If you go to this link, you'll find a tab for each source, and I could show you real quick what that looks like so you can see, and I'll cover that with you real quick. And I am going to do a full-blown blab on this at some point, but let's get back over here. I'm going to close out. So now on the screen, what you see is their website. Let me get back over here. All right. I lost you guys. I got too many windows open over here. Let me get back to where I was. I tell you, this is one of the issues with broadcasting like this if you don't have everything together. Okay, so this is the Voicemeeter website, and this first tab says virtual audio cable. This is actually a driver that you can install. It's not the software. It gives you the ability to create a virtual cable on your system that you can pump music to, or pump sound effects to, or pump sources from Skype to, and then use that as an input source somewhere else. So it's kind of like having a wire attached to your computer inside your computer that doesn't really exist. The Voicemeeter software itself is the second tab, and this is the smaller cut down version. This is what it looks like. This is only 2 mic sources in and a virtual input with 3-point EQ and then the output sources. So the mixing is done at a little lower level, but you can take Skype calls, you can record, you can monitor, you can do several things with this and use your music player also attached to it. The third tab is the software I'm using, which is the Voicemeeter Banana, or the high-end pro version. Still free. It's actually what's called donationware, which allows you to give them what you think it's worth. You know, I was looking at $20 to me was what the software was worth. They're not expecting any money. They're giving it out as donationware, and you'll find that at the very bottom but you can see here how it's a little more elaborate. You can do a lot more with this, and the first version doesn't have the recorder either. So that's one other difference. And if you really want to get crazy, you can get into what is called the ASIO drivers for certain applications. And I can show you what that does. That creates.
Okay, now I'm going to have to start coloring, Leland.
No, I know. I understand. I was just gonna, I didn't mean to go there. I really wasn't. But what that does is it just creates a whole lot of more interfaces. You know, if you were to get in here and get technical on it, it gets completely crazy. Let me get to where I was going.
That's phenomenal. I am so impressed.
Yeah, there's a lot to this. This is where you can develop connections. I could have what looks like that screen on the website. If I pull that back up, there are ways that you can connect so much stuff here with other mixing software. This is the ASIO driver system where they have plugins of umpteen natures. If I was to go over to that driver page, let me see if I can get to it. Here's the plugin page. This is the amount of software. Let me zoom in on that a little bit if I can for you. This is the amount of software you could literally add to Voicemeeter for the effects, and I'll just zoom in a little bit so you can see this. So I think this gives you a good idea of how intense this software can really get if you were to get crazy with it and get all the plugins that go with it. So it's phenomenal. And it's free, basically. So give that a shot, see what you think. I think you'll find it's very stable. It's very useful. The one thing you need to do is make sure. I see Grammy dumped. Are you still here, Grammy? Did we lose you? We must have lost her signal. Oh, well, that's all right. I'm going to come back into the screen. I think she crashed out. You're still here, right? Oh, it crashed? Are you still here? Oh, okay. Can you get back in or not? Okay, I'll refresh recording just so we can get back over there. That was crazy. All right. Hi, Grammy. It looks like you made it back. Oh, she bumped again. I don't know if maybe she just wanted to take, I know she had to get going. She's got to help Renee with her blab today. So for those of you who are just showing up or weren't here earlier, we were discussing some software mixers with some folks, and everything seemed to just blow up in our face, and it was a blab issue. It was nothing we could really do about it. But what I'm looking forward to, hopefully, we were looking at possibly getting her on the show today, but it didn't happen because she is very busy. She just came out with a little viral video online, and I was showing it to the other folks just a minute ago, and you guys haven't seen it yet. I'm going to show first as well. I should probably show you that one first. It's a really cute video. I kind of want to promote this person a little bit because of the fact that she's local. Let me just get the link here. You're going to hear some audio in the background. That's me. This is a little viral video that went out the other day. And I'm going to drop it one more time because you folks haven't seen it yet. This is Jamie Orr. She just came out with a new single called Love is a War. And she's looking at coming out. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Oh, well, yeah, we did that just a bit ago, and it wasn't even that. It just kind of crashed out while I was sharing some stuff with people. But, yeah, as far as a placeholder for me to drop out, you can see my video, right? Beauty, can you see my video? I'm asking. I expect you can. All right. Anyway. This is... Oh, Grammy's face was in the background there. Hoping to have her on the show next Wednesday. I've been in contact with her on Twitter. She's in the Novi area. This is just a couple-minute video. It's really cute. It's her first time that the song played on the radio. Okay, so we got to see that little bit of taste again. Steven, you're welcome to hop in if you're just sitting over there in the chat. I am not doing much but recovering from the blab crash. So, Jerry, was it actually something that the entire platform went black? Because I was still here, still broadcasting. Nothing happened to me whatsoever. I had literally refreshed after everybody disappeared. So I was kind of surprised there was no chat. Oh, you coding over there? Gotcha. All you could see were the avatars blinking. That's pretty crazy. Because, yeah, on this end, I was just broadcasting away. The recording did stop automatically, which I found kind of interesting. But the interface was here. I was here. Grammy disappeared. You disappeared. Roxanne disappeared. And that was really about it. I'm curious whether I'm still up on... I'm going to go take a peek as to whether I'm even shown on the front page as being alive. Yeah, not really. I'm just kind of there because it's people that I follow. Being live, let's see. And this would be based on how many people. No, I'm not even... Wow, I'm not even showing up on the board. Nobody's going to come in here if they can't see me. Yeah, there's nothing even live showing up for upcoming or starting or anything. So not a very easy way to run a show, is it, folks? And that's one of the downfalls. I'll just be honest. This is part of the reason I'm deciding to do my broadcasting outside of Blab and I'm doing it inside Blab today because I'm not fully restored to, my system's not up and running the way I want it to be. So what it causes is real issues when it comes to reliability and recording quality and just the ability to not be interrupted during a show, which is really difficult when you have a system that breaks, when you have recordings that are faulty. And I'm not trying to knock Blab. I think they're doing a great job of putting together what they need to, and they're mustering the resources together. Oh, I do show up? Okay, great. Thanks, Jerry. They're doing what they can with what they have. And see, that was the thing, Steven. I went out to check and I couldn't see myself out there. So that's fine. I appreciate you guys checking into that for me. Thanks so much. But again, I'm looking at doing things much like Steven and Marty are doing, which is getting out there, broadcasting. If you guys want to see where I'm heading, one of the places you can check out, and Jerry, I know you may want to take a look at this if you're going to be getting into streaming of any kind, is go check out Restream.io. And you can pick up for free an OBS software, the stuff I'm using right now, or you can get XSplit on the trial version. The paid version is $5 a month. Mine happens to be $1,000 software package that I'm using, but that's only because I want it. I wouldn't have bought this if it weren't for my budget. But the other place you can go is you can look up OBS, open broadcasting software. It doesn't work with Blab just yet, but because of the Blab drop-in feature, you can. And that's what I'm going to walk through. I'm going to do another tutorial on this in the upcoming days. The OBS project is open source software. It's very similar to XSplit. And the only thing they don't have is the virtual camera feature. And that's part of where WebRTS takes over and you're doing everything through the browser. The old way of streaming was always through the software, through RTMP servers, where you would broadcast your signal out. The RTMP server would collect your signal, reprocess it, and then broadcast it on their system or their platform. Similar to how Twitch works, it's similar to how YouTube Live. It's a little different on YouTube Live because it creates several different resolutions of the same video as it comes through. But now with the drop-in feature, you can broadcast to YouTube Live with OBS. And by using that, you can drop the YouTube Live feed into the Blab. And I could actually do this. This is something I can do. This will freak you out. Watch this. Let me do this and you'll see what I mean. I'm going to go ahead and start broadcasting to 5 places at once. This is going to kind of blow things out of the water a little bit. And who knows, I may blow up Blab for that matter. But I'm going to give it a shot anyway. I just started my streaming in the background through the software that I'm running right now. And I can show you how I'm doing that. I'll take it over to the other side so you can see it. You won't see me for a second. But I will show you. Whoops, I opened another window. Hold on 1 second. All right, I'm going to move you over to the other screen so you can see, and it's going to give you that infinity depth of window here in just a second, but I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I'm basically broadcasting through this software, which is called Wirecast. Let me get this out of the way so you can actually see it. Okay, I have two windows. I have a preview pane, and then I have an actual output pane, which shows what I'm doing. You're seeing an in-depth view straight through the camera into the software that keeps going for infinity and beyond. Basically, currently, I have a screen set up where I am broadcasting my desktop on another monitor. So what you're seeing is my secondary monitor. I'm over here on this monitor, okay, monitor number 1. Hi, you can see me. And I'm showing you my desktop on monitor 2, which I can click back to by simply switching them. Now up here, I'm streaming to 5 other platforms right now. I just clicked it on. So I'm actually broadcasting YouTube Live, Daily Motion, StreamUp, Ustream, and now here, Blab. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to head over to my YouTube channel. And I'm going to go to my channel, and my live feed is going to pop up at the bottom of my channel page. And I'm going to go over to my live feed, and you might hear some sound here in a second. I'm going to grab the share link for my YouTube Live. I'm going to come back over to Blab, and I'm going to drop it into the drop-in feature. Now you're going to see me up top in just a second here on my YouTube Live. Now you see this is delayed by about 15 seconds, okay? And I'm going to show up here down below, and in about 15 seconds, I'm going to show up there in that big window up top. So what this allows me to do is actually hang out here with you on Blab for a moment and broadcast out the signal that I'm pumping out to 5 other places at once on one computer. Mind you, I'm running an AMD 6-core processor with about 12 gig of RAM. I have software mixing. I'm not using a hardware mixer, and I have no other hard mix equipment. And actually what you can see is, there you go. All right, let me. Okay, now I closed that because otherwise I wouldn't be able to talk, and you're just going to hear everything I just said. That will continue to broadcast. Everything I say and do here is being broadcast live on 5 different platforms. Now, I could step out of the seat, and I could hang out with you guys. Excuse me, I had an air bubble in my chest. And by doing so, I could have closed my window, and we could try that if you want. But the problem is, and this is what Marty and Steven deal with all the time, is there's a lag that follows behind. So anything you put in the chat and say in the chat, I'll see when you say it, but you won't hear a response from me for close to 30 seconds later. And it's inherent of the old days of the Hangouts on air. It's just something that's always been around. They're working on that, and hopefully in the nearest future with higher speed fiber optics, with the fact that we're looking into NDI, which is the network distribution interface, we're going to have a lot more options available to us. And what that's going to allow us to do is have high speed connections from one end of the country to the other. We're going to be able to produce these kinds of shows much quicker. And we're hoping that when Google's interface comes out, Barbara, could you tell me one more time? I forget what the name, and welcome, by the way. Thanks for stopping by. What the name of Google's new live streaming platform is going to be. I tried Googling Google's platform, and it didn't even show up on the front page. Connect. Thank you very much. Google Connect is going to be the latest and greatest version of Google's attempt to gain foothold in the live streaming market. So what we're hoping to discover in that process is that Google's going to allow us that minimal lag time that we're experiencing out on YouTube Live because of the production of the video. The processing that takes place behind the scenes in YouTube Live as you're broadcasting to their stream or to their URL feeds out there, their servers. Thank you. Had to get that word out. There is a processing that goes on where it's developing a 360 resolution, a 480 resolution, a 720 resolution, a 1080 resolution, and a 4K resolution. So in order to, and only if you're broadcasting in 4K, obviously, but that's what keeps the lag on YouTube Live. And that's why we're all having a little bit of issue with the way we want to use it, but because of that lag, we're avoiding it in some cases. Thank you, Barbara. I'm going to take a look at that today for sure, because, and is that going to go live anytime soon? Has there been a date set that you're aware of? I'm just curious, because that's something that I'm really looking forward to, and with hopes that it will get rid of mid-May. Oh, that would be cool. If that curbs the lag, then you'll see a lot more use of that over YouTube Live. Though I think a lot of the YouTubers who require that platform and use it regularly for what they do, because there are certain features with YouTube Live that might not be available with Google's Connect, we may find other ways to do that. So looking forward to it. But you saw what I was able to do with one machine. And again, I'm still broadcasting. And the one thing I'm not doing that I should be, now I'm recording here on Blab currently. And if I head back over to my browser over there, and I'll just show you while I'm doing it so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. I'll flip back over here real quick. I can go right up here in my broadcasting software. I have another button that I can pick on, and I can hit the record button. And now I'm recording at least my broadcast on my own station. Now I'm currently in that process alone. I'm using just over half of my processor's capacity right now. So it's not a simple thing when you're running even a 6-core processor and 12 gig of RAM to be able to produce this much video at one time, even though I'm only streaming out on one feed, because I would certainly never be able to do Ustream and YouTube and Dailymotion and StreamUp and Blab all at the same time on one computer, trying to pump that out into 5 different streams from my machine, which I could do if I wanted to, but I don't have the bandwidth here. My machine is incapable. Well, I shouldn't say my machine. My IP, my internet provider, I get 60 meg down, but I only get 4 meg up, which limits me. I could barely broadcast one signal at 1080p. So that keeps me from being able to do much higher than 720p. And I might be able to do, 2 feeds out at 720 because that only requires about 2 meg up. And that's about as high as I'd be able to go. So using this software and the Restream.io website, I'm able to broadcast one signal out and distribute it through several channels at once. It's playing live right now at Dailymotion and all the others. So, and I probably have to get together with Restream.io just also came out with a new chat app, which will be kind of interesting. And I'll show you that. I'll give you that link real quick because it is separate from. It should be popping up as a really small text on their main screen when you go in. Yeah, it's at the top when you log in. It is Restream.io /chat. And this is a multi-chat, stream chat feature that Restream just came out with. Allows any streams that you're feeding to through Restream.io to be able to follow up on. And I could probably run it real quick so you can see it. Well, that page alone gives you an example of what it looks like. I do have the app here running, but I haven't tried it out yet. So I'm looking forward to being able to play with that in the nearest future also. Let me see if I can. Here's the Restream chat app. I'll show you what it looks like if it fires up as well as it should. It is a click-through browser also, which is kind of cool, or a click-through window. Let me get this down here so you can see it. I'm going to move my sources around a little bit. Bear with me just a second. Okay, so the chat app, this is what it looks like. Let me get my little thingy out of the way there so you don't have to see that. All right, this is basically, it gives me the access. And I know it's difficult for you guys to see this because it's not in a big window, but the feeds that you're seeing down the side, because I can't open this any bigger than it is. I have it as a click-through. So if I actually have a window up behind it, I can still highlight the text and everything through this chat window as though it's not even there. which is a kind of a cool feature. All I have to do is hold down the control key, and then I can move this window wherever I want, or I can, pick on the feeds that are coming in. So basically I have a chat line for each of Dailymotion, Ustream, StreamUp, YouTube Live, or all the chats at once. So I can either follow individual channels, or I can go in and talk to everybody with one, pound of the keys on the say something down here. And there are a lot of settings for which I found were kind of elaborate, actually. The settings that it has available, you can set up your chat accounts. You can give permissions to other people to access the chat for you while you're doing your show. Somebody else could be handling the chat through your end, through your account. The window availability, the window can always be on top, or you can click through it like I was just talking about doing previously. The fonts can be changed and resized. The web server, it can also be broadcast to a web page, which I haven't tried yet. I really want to figure out this feature. I sent an email over to Restream to get a manual, because they really don't have any instructions on how to use this feature. I would expect with the right site name and the right port, you would be able to broadcast this chat into a page automatically with no problems. And you can also save the chat to an image, which I thought was so cool. This is something we were really hoping to be able to do on Blab, where you could just go in and save part of the chat for yourself. And this allows you to take snaps of the chats and actually dump them right back into your Restream through your show if you wanted. You could take some questions from people, and kind of like the question feature works here on Blab, you would be able to pull a question out of everyone. Hey, Deborah, how you doing today? Pull a question out of somebody else's feed, like off of Dailymotion, and be able to show it to everybody that's out there on all the other streams. And then it's connected to your Restream account. And again, see, they don't even have any information about this software. It just came out. It's something very new and in beta, obviously. So we're going to be playing around with this a little bit to see if that's something that can be used and utilize these chats more or less all from one place, rather than having to, like currently, I could go over to YouTube Live. I could hang out in the chat window on YouTube Live, which is over there. It's running, and there is a live chat going on over there while we're speaking. There's nobody there right now because this is just a kind of on the spur of the moment live feed through YouTube. But there's also a chat over at Dailymotion, and there's a chat over at StreamUp. But I think I don't know that Ustream, I do have a chat feature over at Ustream too. So, and to try and handle all those in the background and bounce site to site, you'd have to turn off all the audio on all those sites, lock the video out so that you're not re-looping back into your other broadcasts. And it gets a little hairy. It gets crazy trying to run all those tabs on one computer. Now, if I had several computers running each of those platforms individually, it'd be even worse. And if you've ever seen Steven's lab, you might call it, where he has to actually get up at times and go to other machines and other equipment to do certain things, like accept Skype callers and restream out his audio to other places. So I'm trying to keep this as one-man band as I possibly can, which would mean a couple of monitors, maybe one or two more in the future, maybe one other computer sitting next to me to take on incoming Skype calls. But right now I actually have it set up pretty well, where I tested from my laptop back here in the back. I used a separate Skype account, and I called in through Skype in here so that I could use my split window through the software that I have, and I would be able to take a caller on the other side. Now, this would go full screen. Obviously, it would be the presentation mode. I'd be in 16:9 when I do this, but I would be able to bring my guest in like Marty and those guys do. And on a live stream like that, what I could do is this, and it'll show up over here again just shortly on YouTube. You'll be able to see what that would look like. Now, I'm broadcasting this out in a condensed version. So when it comes through on the larger screen, this is what it would look like. Now, because it's got my desktop in here, that's part of what I'm going to be getting away from in the near future. This is simply a desktop broadcast that needs to be corrected. It's not sized properly for what I'm trying to do. So you can see where it gets a little crazy. I'm actually here. You might be hearing what's going on up top, and I apologize if you're getting sound feedback from that. You can just mute that top window up there from YouTube if you'd like, and you won't have that issue. So some of the things I'm looking to try and pull off here without all that heavy duty equipment without having to go out and buy all kinds of stuff to make it happen, as some of the individuals out there that are doing it have done in the past. Obviously, with NDI coming out, there's going to be a lot more available to us as broadcasters. We'll be able to share streams from other broadcasters, and that's really going to be incredible. Telestream, the makers of the software that I'm using, which is called Wirecast, are the ones that are going to be kind of behind a lot of this in the near future. Let me head over there real quick, and I'll try. I know I saved a link to the site where you can, at current times. Oh, and I have a question for you too, Barb, about that. I've got the face rig in the background. Do you need a certain kind of Intel camera to be able to do that? Because that was something I was looking into the other day. It looks like you have to have an Intel RealSense depth camera to play around with that type of stuff. Is that true? All right, let me get back over to you here. Oh, it did come in muted. That's interesting. Oh, you know what it was? Is because maybe I did have it muted. That's a good question. You know what? I'm kind of curious as to why it did that. I'll have to look into that. That's different. Thanks for noticing that, because it was, oh, if I muted, it's muted for everyone. But I didn't mute it. That was the thing. It came in silent when I played it. I want to do something real quick. Let me just try that one more time. I want to see if it's still muted. Maybe, yeah, I don't have it muted. Now it's playing. Okay, that's weird. That's weird. I really don't know what's going on there. So, yeah, and I heard it too that time, but I didn't the last time I dropped that link. So I'm kind of curious what happened there. Could be, Deborah. I think that it very well could be. So I was heading over to Telestream, and what I was looking to show you guys, I think if you type Telestream and NDI both in the Google chat, you'll get a little bit of, yeah, here we go. Oh, nope, that's a forum post. I'm looking to find their information, and I saved a link, I thought, anyway. I'm going to do it from here. NDI is what we were, Stephen had a blab for it just the other day, and I may not be able to find it on their website. I'm going to probably recommend their site instead. And that way you guys can watch it yourself. If you go to the techbuzz.net, there was I believe it was a broadcast now. Yes, it was. I have a link right here. And I would prefer, this is an hour-long blab or more, so I recommend you guys watch this on your own when you have a chance. So save this. This is very important. This is the type of information you're going to want to know moving forward, because honestly, this is going to be the game changer when it comes to doing video broadcasts online. NDI is a process that's going to allow us to share hardware devices through IP connections. So if you're in California and you're running a video stream through an IP source, through a web browser, you can share your IP number with me, and I can connect through my software and broadcast your stream through my end into whatever platform I want to broadcast it to. It'll be nearly instantaneous because of the way the system's developed. NDI has been around for a long time. It's something that the broadcasting community, the high-end networks have been using for quite some time, where you can literally have, and when you get into a production environment like that and you have program directors running the show, you have a graphics department, you have people doing lower thirds, you have people doing replays, you have people doing commercials. Everybody's working succinctly on the same show, but not necessarily in the same room or even in the same state. So you'll find a lot of that stuff takes place. Yeah, absolutely. I haven't seen vMix's demo on that, Walter. So if you've got a link for that, I'd be happy to take a look at it. But it is something that's moving forward very quickly, and there's a lot of the developers for broadcasting software that are getting behind the ball on this also. So what you're going to find in the near future is we'll be able to share data. We'll be able to connect digitally. We won't need so much of the analog equipment anymore, which is one of the biggest things that this is going to cause moving forward, and not having to dish out all that extra money to have splitters and switchers and analog to digital converters and HDMI equipment and things like that, because, well, a lot of it's going to have to do with the, the SMDI equipment that's out there, where you're actually broadcasting with the digital cameras connected through hardwire AV into HDMI and being converted. A lot of that stuff is probably going to change. You're going to find cameras that are connected with a Cat5 cable from now on, where you're just going to be able to plug one cable into all your different equipment. You're not going to have to deal with snap-in cables and XML mics and all that. It's going to be USB and it's going to be Cat5. So look for that and keep your eyes on NDI. There is some software out there you can download. It's all open source, and that's where, thank you very much, Walter. So if y'all want to take a look at the demo that vMix did of what NDI is capable of, make sure you check it out. And here's one of those guys that, Marty, welcome to the show. I was just kind of getting toward the end of things here. We got booted. Everything got shut down on me over here at Blab, but I was still broadcasting, Doctor. So I was having fun. I was showing these folks. I was just dropping something in here. Yeah, that's fine, Marty. If you knew how many times people misspell my name, it's just crazy. So, and I have been looking into that. I haven't gotten an email back yet, Marty, from the folks over at Restream, but I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, NDI Beauty is going to be a big thing. And like I said, follow that Blab that just came up. Well, thank you, sir. I have a new mic. If you can't see it down here, it's kind of hidden because I'm still waiting on my mic stand. I'm waiting for my shock mount. If you saw what was holding this thing together right now, you'd laugh. I had a mic holder that I went to kind of expand a little bit, and it popped and it snapped both sides open perfectly, which was cool. So I was able to throw a little stick glue in there with the heat gun, and fortunately, you can't see the rubber bands that are holding this thing up onto the mic stand right now. But I got a great deal on an MXL USB 06, which is a little bit older mic, but it's an open condenser mic. It's a large bodied mic. It normally goes for about $120, and I got it for $40 on eBay through what looked to be probably a pawn shop that had the mic in its possession and decided to sell it. So I caught it at the right time. It just came out on eBay that day, and I said, you know what, I want it. I made an offer under what they were asking, and he took it and he shipped it out right away. So I love the mic. It's working out really well for me so far. But it also helped me to dump this beast. I got rid of the analog mixer that I've been using with my old karaoke mics, which was causing me a lot of sound issues. And now I'm simply using the software mixer through Voicemeeter on the computer with the USB mic, and it avoids one more step of processing complications that I could run into, which would be the analog to digital conversion. So now everything that I do is strictly, all of the digital sound is being performed and remanipulated within the mic itself and broadcast digitally through the USB cable into the machine. And now from here, I can worry about nothing but digital processing going forward. So that's what I'm looking to do. That's where I'm going to try to. Yeah, I am, Deborah. I'm trying to keep it simple. I don't want to really build out a huge studio. I just want to be able to broadcast in the least and most economic, in the least amount of bulk and the most economical way I can find, because my budget is limited when it comes to hardware. So I'm going to try and keep it that way and just make it simple. KISS, as they say, correct? Well, thank you, Barbara. Another one. So that's 2 links I have to save. Now let me get to a couple of these. All right. I want to make sure I get these before I miss out on them. So pausing for 1 second, but I'm about to wrap it up here in a second, folks. Anyway, I just want to get these tabs opened up before I lose them. Well, thank you, Walter. I appreciate that compliment. Oh, what was that? You just picked on the Voicemeeter Orange. Thanks, Barbara. I appreciate it. That is the software I was just demonstrating a little bit ago. And I haven't even touched upon, they are now currently building out a lot of plugins for that software. The web pages are not open yet, but let me just give you an idea of where Voicemeeter is going with that. I'm just going to share with you real quick on the web page that Barbara just linked you to. If you go to the plugins tab there, you can see in this graphic, this is just some of the plugin features that are going to be made available to Voicemeeter in the near future. So what they basically have available is a core of add-ons for, you're looking at 10 bands of compression, EQ packs, measure packs, special effects packs. All of this is going to be added in as ASIO driver features to the simple system that you see me using regularly every day, which is the Voicemeeter interface here, which allows me to broadcast and control all of my audio, gives me all of my mix minus capabilities to bring Skype callers in, which I did test today, worked great, had no issues whatsoever doing a mixed minus on this system. I can broadcast out and close down one of the channels so that I can still bring in all the sound from my computer so that the people on the other end can hear what's going on the show, and the Skype caller does not receive their voice back on their show. So, or on their end, I should say, through their telephone source or whatever it is they might be calling in from. So that's where it's going, and it's worked out really well. I am going to go off the record for sure. I would like to see how well your avatar tracks. So it is quarter after the hour and well past the time I want to do a lot for the recording, but we did break down mid-session and everything went down. It actually shut down my recording on me also. Everybody got booted off the Blab, as you probably were aware of. So I want to thank everybody for stopping by. This is The Nothing Show with Leland Best, your host today and probably always. Let's just call it a wrap, shall we? I'll see you on the other side. Take care, everybody. I'll be right back after the recording ends.